Once upon a time, in a small town, there was a young woman named Sarah. Sarah dreamed of a better life. She wanted to be happy, successful, and healthy, but she didn't know how to make these dreams come true. Sarah lived in a small house with her family. Her parents worked hard every day, but they were not rich. Sarah went to school, but she often felt tired and bored. She didn't feel excited about anything in her life. She thought, there must be more to life than this. One day, Sarah met a kind woman named Mrs. Green. Mrs. Green was older and had lived a full life. She had traveled the world, learned many things, and was always smiling. Sarah felt curious about her. "How do you live such a happy life?" Sarah asked. Mrs. Green smiled and said, "I created my life. I decided what I wanted and worked for it every day." Sarah was amazed. "How did you do that?" she asked. Mrs. Green sat down with Sarah and told her a story. "When I was young, I also felt lost. I wanted a different life, but I didn't know how to make it happen. One day, I decided to change. I started by setting small goals. Every day, I worked a little toward them. I believed in myself, even when it was hard." Sarah listened carefully. "You can do the same," Mrs. Green continued. "Think about what you really want. It could be anything: better health, a great job, or more friends. Then, set small goals. Take one step at a time, and soon you'll see the changes you want." Sarah thought about it for a moment. "I want to be happy and feel healthy," she said. "That's a good start," Mrs. Green said. "Now, what small steps can you take today?" Sarah thought hard. "I can start by eating better and getting more sleep," she said. "Perfect," Mrs. Green smiled. "Those are small steps, but they will lead you to a better life." The next day, Sarah began to eat healthier food and sleep more. At first, it was hard. She missed the junk food she used to eat. She wanted to stay up late watching TV. But every day, she reminded herself of her goals. She wanted to feel better, and she knew that these small steps would help. As weeks passed, Sarah felt more energy. She started to smile more. She felt happier. She was proud of the small changes she had made. Sarah also began to think about other things she wanted. She dreamed of having a job where she could help others. She loved talking to people and listening to their stories. She decided to become a teacher. She started reading books about teaching and attending local classes. She didn't give up, even when it was hard. She worked hard every day, and slowly she moved closer to her dream. After many months of hard work, Sarah became a teacher. She was so happy. She was proud of what she had done. She had created the life she wanted. One day, Sarah visited Mrs. Green and told her the good news. "I did it," Sarah said. "I became a teacher." Mrs. Green smiled and said, "I knew you could do it. You created your life, Sarah." Sarah now understood. She had worked for what she wanted. She had made small changes every day and never gave up. She created the life she wanted. And so can you. No matter where you are, no matter what your dreams are, you can create the life you want. Just take one step at a time, believe in yourself, and keep moving forward. Your dream life is waiting for you. Chapter 2: Overcoming Doubts and Fears. As Sarah continued her journey to becoming a teacher, she faced new challenges. One day she woke up and felt uncertain. Am I really ready for this, she thought. What if I fail? Doubt and fear started to creep into her mind. She began to question everything. What if I'm not good enough? What if I make a mistake in front of my students? Mrs. Green noticed that Sarah was struggling. She visited Sarah one afternoon and asked, "How are you feeling?" "I feel scared," Sarah replied. "I'm afraid I'm not ready to be a teacher. What if I fail?" Mrs. Green smiled kindly. "Everyone has doubts, but you must remember this fear is normal. It's part of the process. But don't let it stop you. Instead of focusing on fear, focus on your goals." Sarah looked at Mrs. Green. "How do I do that?" "Think about why you started," Mrs. Green said. "Remember your dream of helping others and making a difference. Your passion for teaching is bigger than your fear. When you feel afraid, remember that fear is just a feeling, and it will pass." Sarah took a deep breath. She understood what Mrs. Green meant. Fear and doubt were not signs that she couldn't succeed. They were just part of the process. That day, Sarah decided to take action despite her fear. She worked on her lesson plans and prepared for her first class. The morning of her first day as a teacher, her heart was racing, but she told herself, "I am ready. I can do this." When Sarah walked into the classroom and saw the students' faces, she smiled. She was nervous, but she pushed through. By the end of the class, she felt proud of herself. It wasn't perfect, but she had done her best. And that was enough. Chapter 3: Learning from Mistakes. As Sarah became more comfortable in her role as a teacher, she made mistakes. Sometimes she mixed up her lesson plans or forgot to explain something clearly. There were days when she felt frustrated. Why is this so hard, she thought. One afternoon, after a difficult lesson, Sarah went to Mrs. Green for advice. "I keep making mistakes, and I don't know if I'm cut out for this job," Sarah said. Mrs. Green listened carefully. Mistakes are a part of life. No one is perfect. The important thing is to learn from them. Sarah looked confused. "How can I learn from my mistakes? I just feel bad about them." Mrs. Green smiled. "The key is to look at your mistakes as opportunities to grow. Instead of saying, 'I made a mistake,' say, 'I learned something today.'" Sarah thought about this. So, mistakes are not failures. "Exactly," Mrs. Green said. "Mistakes are lessons. Every time you make a mistake, you are becoming better and stronger. The more you learn, the more you grow." Sarah felt a sense of relief. It was okay to make mistakes. They didn't mean she was failing. They meant she was learning. The next day, Sarah made a mistake again. She mispronounced a word while teaching. But this time she didn't feel bad about it. Instead, she smiled and said, "Oops, I made a mistake. Let's fix it together." Her students laughed and followed her example. They were learning with her, not just from her. Chapter 4: Building Confidence. As Sarah continued to teach, her confidence grew. She became more comfortable with her lessons, and her students responded well. But it wasn't just her teaching skills that were improving. Sarah was also learning more about herself. She remembered how afraid she had been when she first started. Now, she felt stronger. She had learned to push through her fears, make mistakes without giving up, and believe in herself. One day, Sarah had a conversation with Mrs. Green. "I'm starting to feel confident. I believe in myself more now than I did before," Sarah said. Mrs. Green nodded. "That's wonderful, Sarah. Confidence comes from experience. It comes from doing something over and over, even when it's hard. The more you believe in yourself, the more others will believe in you too." Sarah smiled. She knew that her journey was far from over, but she had come so far already. She had created the life she wanted by taking action every day. She had worked hard, overcome her fears, learned from her mistakes, and built her confidence. Chapter 5: Helping Others Create Their Life. As Sarah became a better teacher, she started to notice something else. Many of her students had big dreams, but they were afraid to go after them. Some were too shy to speak in class, while others didn't believe they could achieve their goals. Sarah remembered how Mrs. Green had helped her, and she decided to help her students in the same way. She encouraged them to set goals and believe in themselves. She reminded them that they could create the life they wanted, just like she had. One day, Sarah sat with a student named Jack. Jack was shy and didn't think he could ever be a good student. "I'm not smart enough," Jack said. Sarah smiled and said, "You are smart enough, but just like me, you have to work hard and believe in yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's about doing your best." Jack looked at her, surprised. "You really think I can do it?" "I know you can," Sarah said. "If you start with small steps, you will get closer to your dream just like I did." Jack smiled and decided to try harder. Over time, he began to believe in himself more. He worked hard and his grades improved. Sarah was proud of him, but she was even prouder that she had helped him see his own potential. Chapter 6: Living the Dream. Years passed, and Sarah continued to teach. She became well known in her community for being an inspiring teacher who helped her students believe in themselves. She was also living the life she had always dreamed of, helping others, feeling happy, and being healthy. One day, Mrs. Green visited Sarah again. "Look at you," Mrs. Green said with a smile. "You've created the life you wanted, haven't you?" Sarah looked around her classroom. Her students were smiling and learning. She had helped so many of them find the courage to chase their dreams. "I have," Sarah said, "and now I can help others do the same. I can teach them how to create the life they want." Mrs. Green gave her a big hug. "I knew you could do it, Sarah. You've made your dreams come true, and now you're helping others do the same. That is the greatest gift." Sarah's story teaches us that we all have the power to create the life we want. It's not always easy. There will be challenges, doubts, and mistakes along the way. But if you keep going, believe in yourself, and take small steps every day, you can make your dreams come true too. So, what do you want for your life? What is your dream? Remember, you are the creator of your life. Take the first step today and keep moving forward. You can do it.
Imagine this: you're in a room full of people, and someone asks you a question in English. All eyes are on you. You open your mouth, but nothing comes out. The words you need are right there, just out of reach, like a bird flying away before you can catch it. Frustrating, isn't it? But what if I told you there's a secret way to make English words stay with you forever? Yes, forever. You won't just learn them, you'll own them, like treasures locked in your mind, ready to shine whenever you need them. Stay with me, because by the end of this, your life might just change. Hello, my friends. My name is Kelly, and today we are talking about something very exciting: how to remember English words forever. While you listen, you'll not only learn the secret, but also discover new words and how to use them in sentences. It's like learning English and practicing it at the same time, fun and easy. So, stay till the end, because I promise this will help you speak English fluently, confidently, and with a smile. Imagine being able to speak without pausing, without fear. Imagine your friends, colleagues, or teachers looking at you with surprise and saying, "Wow, how did you get so good at English? Sounds amazing, right?" But it's not just about impressing others. It's about creating new opportunities, building better relationships, and feeling good about yourself. English is not just a language, it's a bridge. A bridge to better jobs, traveling the world, and even watching your favorite movies without subtitles. So, this isn't just about learning words. It's about changing your life. That's why you need to listen carefully and follow along. When I was younger, I struggled with English too. Yes, me. I remember sitting in my room with a long list of words. I'd read them, repeat them, and even write them down. But a few days later, poof, gone. I felt like a failure, like I could never speak fluently. It made me shy, scared, and so quiet in class. But one day, something happened. A teacher, who I'll never forget, shared a secret with me. She said, "Kelly, don't just memorize words. Connect them to your heart." I didn't understand at first. Connect them to my heart? What did that mean? Then she explained, every word has a story, a feeling, a picture. If you can connect a word to something you love, something you feel, it will never leave you. It sounded strange, but I decided to try. So, there I was, sitting with my notebook, trying to figure out how to connect words to my heart. I started with one simple word: happy. My teacher asked me, "What makes you happy, Kelly?" I thought about it. My dog, Max. My mom's cooking. The sound of rain on my window. And just like that, happy became more than just a word. It became a feeling, a memory, a part of me. Every time I heard the word happy after that, it wasn't just a word on paper. It brought Max to my mind, wagging his tail. It brought back the smell of my mom's spaghetti, or the soft pitter-patter of rain. The word was alive. The next word I learned was beautiful. My teacher asked, "What do you think is beautiful?" Kelly, I smiled and said, "The sunset." She nodded. Every time you hear or say the word beautiful, think of the sunset. See its colors in your mind. And guess what? It worked. Even now, when I hear the word beautiful, I see the sky glowing in orange and pink. It feels warm, like a hug from nature. This was the secret. Words are not just sounds or letters. They are feelings, pictures, and memories. The more you connect a word to something real in your life, the stronger it stays in your mind. But that's not all. There's another step. My teacher said, "Kelly, don't stop with one word. Put it in a sentence." So I did. I said, "The sunset is beautiful." Then I said it again and again. The more I said it, the more natural it became. Soon, I didn't have to think about it at all. The next day, I added more words. Happy, beautiful family, love. I connected each one to my life and then used them in sentences. My family makes me happy. The beautiful sky is full of stars. I love my dog, Max. Day by day, my list grew. But this wasn't like the boring lists I used to memorize. This list was full of stories, pictures, and feelings. It was alive. Here's something else I learned: when you say a word out loud, it becomes stronger in your mind. So I didn't just think the words, I spoke them. In the shower, while walking, even in my room at night, I became my own teacher. But let's make this fun for you too. Imagine the word friend. Close your eyes for a moment. Who is the first person you think of? Maybe it's your best friend from school. Maybe it's someone who helped you when you needed it most. That's your friend. Now say this sentence: my friend is kind. Say it again, slowly. Feel the word. Doesn't it feel good? Now think of the word dream. What is your dream? Maybe it's to travel to a new country, to get your dream job, or to speak English fluently. Imagine that dream in your mind. Now say, I have a dream. Do you see how the words become yours? This method doesn't just help you remember words, it makes learning joyful. It's not about stress or pressure. It's about connecting to your life and feeling excited. Now, let me share a little secret about urgency. If you don't start now, the words you want to learn will keep slipping away. But if you start today, you'll be amazed at how much you can achieve in a week, a month, or even a year. Think of this: a year from now, you could be speaking English fluently, making friends, and watching movies without subtitles. Or you could still be stuck, wishing you had started earlier. The choice is yours. Let me give you a quick challenge before we continue. Think of 5 things that make you happy. Write them down. Then, turn each one into a sentence. For example, coffee, I love coffee in the morning. Music makes me happy. Family, my family is the best. Books, I enjoy reading books. Travel, I want to travel the world. See? You've already practiced 5 new words. Great. I'm so excited you're still with me. Let's dive deeper into the next part of the secret to remembering English words forever. Now, you might be wondering, Kelly, I understand connecting words to feelings and creating sentences. But what happens when I forget a word? What if I can't recall a word I need in a conversation? That's totally normal. And don't worry, you're not alone. Here's a powerful technique that will help you never forget a word again. Repetition with emotion. Sounds simple, right? But there's a reason why this works so well. When we repeat something, it doesn't just go into our brain like a fact. It becomes a part of us. Think about it. You've probably heard a song over and over again. And even if you didn't try to memorize it, you still remember the lyrics. Why? Because you connected to the song, you felt it, you repeated it. Words work the same way. The trick is to repeat them in different ways. Don't just say, I learned the word happy yesterday, and I'm done. No. You need to come back to that word every day, and not just repeat it like a robot. Feel it again, like you did the first time. One way to do this is through stories. Take one word and build a little story around it. For example, let's take the word excited. Yesterday I was excited to go to a concert. I felt the energy, the music, the people around me. It wasn't just the word excited anymore. It became a memory I could feel in my heart. Today, I say, I am excited to be here with all of you. The word excited is alive in my mind, and it keeps growing stronger every time I say it. But don't just stop with one story. Keep going. Tell your friend about the concert, then tell your family, then tell your neighbor. The more you say the word, the more it sticks. Next, here's something really important that most people overlook when learning new words: visual connection. Words are not just sounds and meanings. They're also images. Have you ever heard someone use a word and instantly a picture pops into your mind? That's the power of connection. When you connect words to pictures, they become unforgettable. Let's try it together. Close your eyes and think of the word beach. What do you see? Maybe you see the golden sand, the blue waves, and the warm sun. Great. Now imagine using the word beach in a sentence. I love to relax at the beach. That sentence has become more than just words. It's a picture in your mind, a memory, a feeling. Here's the next challenge for you. Think of a word you've just learned or want to learn. Now, close your eyes and picture it in your mind. What do you see? a place, a person, an object? Whatever it is, make it clear, make it real. Now say the sentence aloud. Can you feel the power of that word in your heart? You can use this technique for any word. If you want to remember the word strong, think of a time when you felt strong, whether it was lifting something heavy or standing up for yourself. See that moment in your mind and say, I am strong, or I feel strong today. You are now connecting that word with an image and a feeling, making it unforgettable. Now, let's get into something really exciting, the power of community. Yes, I said it. Having people around you who are also learning English can make a huge difference. It's like having a team, a support system, people who help you grow. I've seen it in my own life. When I learned English, I didn't do it alone. I had friends, classmates, teachers, and even online groups where we practiced together. We shared our struggles, our successes, and most importantly, we shared our words. The amazing part is, when you practice with others, you start using new words even faster. You speak, you listen, and you learn together. It's like a fun game. For example, you can create little challenges with your friends. Maybe you and your friend have a word of the day. You have to use that word at least 3 times in a conversation. The more you speak, the more you connect. And you can keep each other motivated when things get tough. Let me share something special with you. It's okay to make mistakes. So many people are afraid of making mistakes when they speak English. But here's the truth: mistakes are part of the process. The best language learners make mistakes. So don't be afraid to speak. The more you try, the more you grow. I used to be afraid of making mistakes, especially when speaking English. But I remember a moment when I spoke in front of a large group of people. I made several mistakes, and I felt embarrassed. But then something magical happened. People didn't laugh at me. They didn't judge me. Instead, they were encouraging me, helping me to be better. That moment changed everything for me. I realized that learning is not about being perfect, it's about trying, improving, and growing every day. Now, I want you to feel the same. I want you to feel empowered and excited. The more you speak, the more you practice, the better you will get. And don't forget the importance of connecting each word to your life, your emotions, and your experiences. But here's where the real magic happens. Once you've connected words to your heart, once you've practiced and repeated, once you've created your own English stories, you will feel the flow. Speaking English will no longer be hard. It will feel natural, like a second language, like it's a part of you. And this is the moment when everything changes. Suddenly, speaking English isn't a chore. It's something you look forward to. You'll find yourself thinking in English, dreaming in English, and even laughing in English. The language will no longer be a barrier but a bridge that connects you to the world. I know this because I've experienced it. I've been where you are now, and I know you can reach the same place. So, my friends, here's your challenge start today. Connect each word to your life, feel it in your heart, and use it every day. Before I end, I want to ask you one more question. What's the first word you're going to connect to your life today? I'm so excited to hear your answers, so comment below, and I'll reply to each of you. Thank you for staying with me. You're on your way to remembering English words forever. Keep going, keep speaking, and most of all, keep believing in yourself. The world is waiting for you to shine.